Hi, my students. Today I am going to deliver my lecture on distributive theory of justice. Let us see what is the distributive theory of justice because I have already discussed it in detail in previous lecture. What is the meaning of justice? Now I am coming to the theories of justice, and first theory which I will be discussing with my students is going to be distributive theory of justice. What is this distributive theory of justice? Let's illustrate it in a very scientific manner. First we have to in politics, what we mean in politics, who gets what and why. This is a very important question when we try to understand in terms of the distribution of resources and rewards in our societies. First thing, and we have to first axiom we have to understand, or first principle we have to understand, since we all live in societies or in a world, in a countries which are developing or underdeveloped or third world, and therefore the question of justice emerges. Therefore the question of justice arises because of the reason that the question of justice would have not risen if we would have been living in countries which are have which have abundant of resources. But since we don't have that much of abundant of resources, in terms of, I'm talking about in the context of developing countries or the third world countries, therefore the question of justice emerges always, and it takes its roots because it becomes very important principle in order to create a justice based society, and some sort of equilibrium or egalitarianism. Why, once we say who gets what and why, this is a very important principle trying to understand the distribution of resources among the people, and distribution of rewards among the people is a very important question. So people in developing and third world countries, because all the countries will not have, they do not have the abundant resources, and therefore the question of justice becomes very important. If they would have already if they would have already this abundant resources, then there would have not been the question of justice, who gets what and why. Therefore this becomes very important, that how we are going to distribute the resources among the people. So therefore there can be eradication of poverty, and therefore asymmetry, the imbalance which is in our society could be resolved by in a very amicable manner, so that we can also take care of those people who are subalterns, marginalized or disadvantaged sections of our society. So therefore I am giving here the example of developing countries and the third world countries. So first we have to understand the fact of the matter: justice is a distributive concept. Once we are saying the justice is a distributive concept, it means that people get, according to the distributive theory, people get actually, when we talk about the justice as a distributive concept, we mean distribution of goods and services is based on three important elements. Once we are trying to make sure that you know uh, distribution of resources will become the reality, we are actually doing it on the basis of three things, which are actually: one is desert, which is a French term that means how much you deserve, and the second thing is merit, that means how much meritorious you are. If you are meritorious, definitely you are going to succeed, whether it is whether it is employment, whether it is anything to get in a society, and to you are going to become prosperous if you are meritorious, if you have some merit. And that is very important in all the democracies, that democracies, they believe in merit and merit principles. The another point is need. So these are, need means that how much you have the need. It depends upon the the strength of your family, and how many family members are in your house, and for example, if somebody is having two members, somebody is having more than two, then therefore a person who is having bigger family will definitely have more needs as compared to a person who is living in a who is having a very small family. So when we try to discuss or elucidate or examine the question of justice as a distributive concept from the distributive theory of justice, we mean by it that it is about the distribution of goods and services is actually based on three elements, three important principles. One is deserve, that means how much you deserve. The second is merit, which means if you are meritorious, definitely you are going to get more success, more rewards. You are going to maximize your interest as compared to a person who is not meritorious. Then definitely there is a question of need, and the needs are different. For example, if there are two persons, their needs can be different depending upon the strength of their family. So when I am discussing the question of who gets what and why, this becomes a very important principle in politics, because sometimes we define politics who gets what, when, and how. So therefore, the question of what and why becomes very important in politics. In developing and third world countries, the issues related to food, water, the safe drinking water, healthcare facilities, education. So these all facilities are not available to every individual, because everybody is not having the similar kind of condition, economic condition. Some are rich, some are not so rich, and some are in living in a middle class society. So the strata of the society is different. The economic condition of the people is different. Therefore, the people cannot have get cannot have the access to these facilities equally, when it comes to the food, when it comes to the water, safe drinking water, healthcare facilities, education, and then so therefore may not be available to all, because the economic condition, because the resources, because the person who is having, some people may have more resources, some people may have less resources. Therefore the question of these all facilities are not available to all. It is because of the the everybody's resources, everyone's resources is different as compared to one another. So therefore, the question of justice becomes very pertinent here. That how to create some sort of equilibrium, how to create some sort of egalitarianism, how to respect everyone. But definitely, when we talk about the distributive theory of justice, it always talks about in terms of desert, that means how much you deserve. It always talks about in terms of merit, that how much you are meritorious. It always talks about in terms of need, because these questions becomes very important once we are discussing or elucidating the question, this theory of distributive theory of justice. Uh, for example, the meritorious need to be rewarded. For example, if there are three students in class, one is very hardworking student, and he is also intelligent, and there is another student who is not working so hard, and maybe he is not working as much as the first one is working, and then the third one is not also working as the second one is working. So therefore, the rewards which will be the numbers they are going to get in exam would not be same, because a person who is more meritorious, who is hardworking guy, or who is intelligent, or who is giving a lot of time to his study, definitely is going to get more marks in exam. And therefore, it is very, according to distributive theory of justice, the meritorious need to be rewarded. Those people who are meritorious, those people who have the merit, they must be rewarded. And for instance, but here also the question becomes very important. Rewards and punishment, whether man or woman they receive, is subjected to his or her efforts and actions. So whatever a man actually receive in his life, whether man or woman, so it would be always determined by his efforts, by his actions, and by his activities, what he may be doing. So he will get according to his activities and as per his actions. So, but here is a little bit contradiction. For instance, for example, a student, if he failed in exam, it may be because that he is not getting much time for his study, because of the reason that he might have ailing father at his home, or he may have alcoholic father, or he may have any other problem or difficulty at his home. Therefore he is not getting too much time for his study, and therefore, and then he becomes failed. And but it is not because of the reason that he is not meritorious. Maybe it is because he has some genuine problem at his home, and therefore he is not getting a lot of time to study much as compared to a person who goes always to attend his class and working hard, but he is not having any trouble or any problem at his home. Therefore, both the students cannot be same in terms of even though they have the same merit, but when it comes to the availability of time and this because the one student is not getting enough time for his study because of his ailing father, or maybe any other issue at his home, and therefore he gets failed in exam. So then I can give you the example of the need. For example, because need is also very important, trying to understand the need principle, I can give you the example. The need is also one of the criterion that might be different. When we talk about the need, we mean by two things. One is need in capabilities, and second is in needs. So people are different. People might be different in terms of capabilities. People might be different in terms of needs. So let me just give you the example. For instance, you just take a cleaner, a sweeper, who cleans our rooms, or and then a person who is a doctor. A cleaner might he may have more family members. For example, he may have 7 children and old parents, and he's having a four bedroom flat. And on the other side, you have a doctor or neurosurgeon who is actually having 2 children, but also wife and husband wife. That means he gets only 2 bedroom flat. So it is because of the reason that two different people are having two different or people are having different needs because of the strength of the family. A cleaner is having a bigger family, therefore he needs a 4 bedroom flat, and whereas the doctor or the neurosurgeon, he has the 2 family members and the 2 children and the husband and wife. That means he is having the 2 bedroom flat. And it is because why do we see this difference here? It is because of the reason that needs of the two people is different here. It is different. Okay, let me just go further. Individuals or not individuals are actually responsible of their actions and of their consequences of their actions. Whatever actions they will do, or whatever actions they will perform, and it will have repercussions over them. And this is the very important theme of the distributive theory of justice, because the distributive theory of justice believes that the human beings are autonomous beings. They are the rational beings, and they know what to perform and how to perform things. Because if somebody is not performing well, if somebody is not working hard, if somebody is not doing making putting good efforts, that means definitely those actions are going to have a bad consequences over his life, on his life, and he will be himself responsible. So according to the distributive theory of justice, justice is the property of individual behavior, not the property of the society. So what it is very clear here that when we talk about the justice theory in terms of the distributive theory of justice, it believes that justice is the property of individual. It is not the property of the society. So the individual is himself responsible. It is because of his behavior. If he is having some problem, if he is getting failed in his life, if he is not getting a lot of avenues, or he may fail in his life anytime, so if he may be himself responsible. The society is not going to be responsible, because the justice here is not the property of society. Justice is the property of individual behavior. So uh, thank you so much for hearing my lecture. Take care of yourself and stay blessed.